Hello and welcome to some video help on solving equations in which the variables are tied up in some fractions. We are going to get started right now. These problems are often a little bit challenging to make sense of when you first look at it because they appear a bit messy. There are fractions, 11/9, you've got 5/3 r. You also have a 2r, and there are negatives all over the place. So the first thing that we are going to do with this type of problem is to try to clean it up a little bit in the following manner. The first step is to take the fractions and make an attempt at finding what the lowest common denominator is. And that is in fact the first step. You are going to find the lowest common denominator of the fractions that are listed in the problem, and then you are going to multiply every term by the lowest common denominator. Once that is done, you will see what happens, and then we will get into the third and final step, which is to simply solve the problem. So let's try to solve the problem at this point. We will notice that the lowest common denominator is ninths. So every single term is going to get multiplied by 9. And sometimes this middle term, this one that is 2r, some people, you can forget about a term rather easily. Okay, so this over here, each of these terms is really 9/1. And when we multiply right here, 9/1 multiplied by 5/3, could actually cross cancel here. 3 becomes a 1, the 9 becomes a 3, and this first term, remember, it is a negative 5/3 r, so it is still going to be a negative, and now it is 15 r. 3 times 5 is 15 over 1. So it's 15r minus, and over here we have 9 times a 2r, so it's minus 18r is equal to, and over here on the right side, these 9s, this 9 right here, and this 9 right here, cross cancel, and this is simply a minus 11. And at this point now we can solve the problem. Negative 15r minus 18r is a negative 33r is equal to negative 11. And in order to solve that, we're going to divide both sides by negative 33, which gives us 1 positive r, which is equal to 1/3. And that is the answer to the first problem in today's assignment. Okay, so let's get into our final example. We will do problem number 2. Step 1, we're trying to take a look at the fractions here. We've got thirds, halves, and sixths. And step 1 is to find the lowest common denominator. And hopefully you came up with 6. So every term in this problem is going to get multiplied by 6. That's step 1. And now we're just going to multiply and come up with the product. So we have 6, starting off with this first problem, 6 times a negative 2r. That's going to give us a negative 12r plus 6 times 1/3 is going to give us 6/3, or 2 wholes. And another way to do that, if you want, you can simply cross cancel some of these. and 3 goes into itself 1 time, 3 goes into 6 2 times, and that would give us 2 over 1, or 2 wholes, so plus 2. This next part of the problem is a minus, and once again 6 times 5 is 30, divided by 2 is 15. Another way to look at that is to cross off the 2 and say 2 goes into itself once, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. And thus we have 15, but remember this is 15 r's, equal sign, and the last piece here is 25. And how did I get that 25? Once again, I find it easier just to cross cancel. 6 goes into itself once, and 6 goes into itself 1 time there, which gives us 25 over 1, or 25. And now we just need to finish the problem off, which is the final step. Solve. And these problems are much more easily solved in this state right here. This problem is the same problem that we had before, but it's a little easier to wrap our heads around. Negative 12r plus 2 minus 15r is equal to 25. Looks much easier to most people than the original problem of negative 2r plus a third minus 5/2 r is equal to negative 25 over 6. So let's go ahead and solve this. We will clean this up and take all of the r's, and it looks like negative 12 and negative 15 gives us negative 27r plus 2 is equal to 25. That's the first step. The next step is to try and get the r's by themselves, so we are going to minus 2 to both sides. And I also noticed that I didn't add the negative. If you look back up at the top of the problem, I'm circling it right here. This 25 here should be a negative 25. So when we subtract 2, we are left with negative 27. And we have negative 27r is equal to negative 27. So the final piece of this problem is to divide both sides by negative 27, leaving us with an answer of r is equal to 1. All right, good luck on these problems today, you guys.